Most people think revolutions arrive loudly, with headlines, with press releases, with breaking news banners scrolling across the screen. But the most important shift in history rarely looks like that. They happen quietly, behind infrastructure, inside systems most people never talk about. And by the time the public notices, the outcome has already been decided. Guys, today I want to show you guys why Amazon's next move in payments could fundamentally reshape how XRP fits into the entire global financial system, and why almost no one is truly paying attention. This is not hype, this is not a rumor, and this is definitely not something you'll hear, explained clearly anywhere else. So let's slow this down, strip away the noise, and walk through this simply that a 5-year-old could understand it, okay? To understand what's truly happening, you need to understand a simple rule. Whoever controls infrastructure controls the future, not apps, not headlines, infrastructure. In the early 1900s, it wasn't the car companies that won first. It was the companies that controlled roads, fuel distribution, and manufacturing pipelines. In the 1900s, it wasn't websites that won. It was the companies that controlled servers, bandwidth and cloud computing. And today, what do we see now in 2026? Payments. That is what is going to win. Liquidity. Okay. And in the invisible rails money that moves on right now, Amazon understands this better than almost anyone on earth. They didn't start by dominating retail. They started by mastering logistics, warehouses, fulfillment centers, shipping optimization. Books weren't just the excuse at that point. They were literally just the beginning of everything. And payments are the next layer. Here's something that most people will never think about. Money still doesn't move like information. You can send a message across the planet in milliseconds. You could text your friend from California all the way to Florida within a millisecond. You could text your friend from New York all the way to Japan within a millisecond. You can stream videos instantly. You can, transfer data seamlessly. But if you want to move money across borders, it's slow, expensive, fragmented, and in some cases, the fastest way to move large sums of money is still physically transporting it. That's not a technology problem, that's an infrastructure problem. And infrastructure problems attract very specific kinds of solutions. Imagine if email worked like banking. You send a message, it stops at 3 different offices. Each office takes a fee. Someone manually verifies it, and it arrives days later. That would be insane. Yet, that's exactly how money works today. The idea behind the quote unquote internet of value is simple. Money should move the same way information moves, instantly, globally, without friction. That idea is not new. What's new is the technology has finally matured enough to support it at scale. And this is exactly where XRP quietly enters the picture. Most blockchains were designed to do many things: smart contracts, NFTs, apps, games. XRP was designed to do one thing extremely well, and that one thing is to move value fast, cheaply, and reliably. That design choice matters more than most people realize, because when institutional, investors and big institutions build systems, they never fail. They have to build a system that must never fail. It has to succeed. Central banks, payment processors, settlement layers, they don't choose flexibility. They choose something that is reliable. These institutions are going to choose reliability, and reliability starts at the programming level. So here's an analogy for you guys to really understand here. Imagine 2 engines, right? Let's say 2 engines. One is flashy, modular, easy to customize, and the other is brutally efficient, built for endurance, and designed to run nonstop. Which one do you think is going to, put in a commercial airplane? Not the flashy one. The XRP ledger was built in using a language that speaks close to the hardware itself. That means speed, precision, determinism. But there's a trade-off with this. When systems like this run at a massive scale, they generate enormous amounts of internal data, logs, error, histories, network signals, and understanding that data is one of the hardest problems in modern computing. When a decentralized network spans thousands of nodes across the globe, diagnosing issues is not simple. There's no single database you can, query, no central switch you can just flip on and off. Each node speaks its own language. They understand each other. Each produces massive volumes of raw technical data. When something breaks, engineers must reconstruct events from millions of signals. Historically, this could take days, weeks sometimes. And scaling it at a global payment network like that, oh, that's nearly impossible. Until now, until Amazon says to themselves, we don't have to just sell products. They run one of the most, powerful cloud infrastructures ever created in human history. More importantly, they are embedded in and embedding artificial intelligence and AI directly into systems operating across the world. Think of it like this: instead of humans searching through mountains of technical data, AI systems can scan everything instantly, identify patterns, understand failures, summarize behavior. What once took teams of engineers days, taking minutes. That's not speculation. That is just how modern infrastructure, scales and works in today's day and age. If you want a global payment network to support enterprise level usage, it must be resilient. It also must be observable. It must be scalable, and it must be very easy to maintain. Payments, don't get like retries. It's a one-time thing with payments, especially in crypto. If a payment fails, real consequences follow. If you send, crypto to the wrong address, that money's on the blockchain forever. There's no calling your bank to, to try to reverse the transaction. It's done with. It's over. So this is why institutions care deeply about monitoring, diagnostics, and automation. When AI and artificial intelligence, reduces operational friction, something profound really happens here, where the barrier to scale disappears, and when scale becomes easy, adoption becomes inevitable. In the late 1990s, Amazon was not the biggest retailer out there. It was not available for everybody, and they were losing a lot of money. They were misunderstood. They were mocked. No one really truly understood their main picture and their main vision, but they were building something else: infrastructure. It leads back to the beginning of video. We were speaking about infrastructure being the number one priority here. And when the world finally needed it, who came to play? Amazon. Amazon was already there. Okay, payments today are at the same inflection point. This is exactly where XRP is right now, and most people are still arguing about the current price here in 2026. Meanwhile, the real game is being played underneath. It's being played underground, behind closed doors. So here's the uncomfortable truth that you guys have to really understand here, guys. Major institutions don't announce experiments. They announce outcomes, okay? They build quietly, they test relentlessly and nonstop, and they reveal only when systems are ready. So that's how serious infrastructure is deployed. And if you're waiting for headlines, you're already late. This doesn't mean anything happens tomorrow or today. It means the foundation is already being poured. It means systems are actually already aligning. It means that when payment rails evolve, they won't be rebuilt from scratch. They'll actually just be being upgraded. And technologies designed specifically for settlement, liquidity, and speed will naturally rise to the surface as time comes, not because of hype, but because of necessity and infrastructure. Every major financial shift in history followed the same exact pattern. New technology appears, institutions quietly test, they see how it works, and then infrastructure adapts. The same exact thing happens always, and then who finds out last? The public. Okay. But we are, somewhere between the steps 2 and 3 right now with XRP. And when people finally realize what changed, the question won't be what happened. The question will be, why didn't I see it sooner? Why didn't I get into this earlier? How didn't I know? Because the biggest moves do not make the most noise.